Hello, and welcome to Overlooked Headlines. We're the podcast designed to share headlines from America and around the world that have been disregarded or overlooked, but are critical to our lives and well-being. It's our mission to inform with the headlines and then inspire through biblical words, which we call His Lines, that once heard and applied will help to strengthen our faith in God as we navigate this journey called life. Now, here's the host of Overlooked Headlines, Jeff Bass.
Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of Overlooked Headlines. I'm Jeff Bass. Let me start off by saying thank you all for your awesome and continued support of this podcast. Stay connected with us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram. By the way, we do an IG Live every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Leave your comments and share. If you like the content we provide, click on the Buy Me a Coffee link on the Overlooked Headlines Instagram profile. By doing so, this helps us to provide more content. Now, here's our headline breakdown. Walking faster fights frailty and preserves independence for seniors. New Jersey lawmakers want to force homeschoolers to teach radical ideologies. Our top headline: will AI be listening to your every word? Amazon hopes so. And we close with His Lines. And now, our first headline. Walking faster fights frailty and preserves independence for seniors. For millions of older Americans on the brink of frailty, a small change in walking speed, just 14 extra steps per minute, could mean the difference between staying independent or losing the ability to live on their own. A groundbreaking study from the University of Chicago reveals that seniors who pushed their pace during regular walks saw dramatic improvements in physical function, offering a practical, low-cost solution to a growing national crisis. The research, published in PLOS One, followed 102 seniors in Chicago area retirement communities over 4 months. Those who walked as fast as safely possible were 65% more likely to see meaningful gains in mobility compared to just 39% of those who strolled at a leisurely pace. The findings provide a clear, measurable prescription for combating frailty, one that doesn't require expensive equipment, gym memberships, or medical interventions. Frailty isn't just about aging, it's a medical condition marked by exhaustion, muscle loss, slow movement, and frequent falls. Roughly 15% of Americans over 65 are frail, and another 45% are at risk. Left unchecked, frailty leads to hospitalizations, nursing home admissions, and a loss of independence that devastates families and strains healthcare systems. For decades, doctors have urged seniors to stay active, but vague advice like take a walk hasn't been enough. This study changes that by pinpointing an exact target, increasing walking speed by 14 steps per minute. For someone averaging 80 steps per minute, that means hitting 94, a brisk but manageable pace that can be tracked with a basic pedometer or smartphone. Traditional exercise metrics often fail older adults. Heart rate monitors become unreliable for seniors on blood pressure medications, and subjective measures like the talk test, which is walking fast enough to make singing difficult but talking possible, are inconsistent. Step counting, however, is simple, objective, and accessible. Previous research shows that 100 steps per minute equals moderate intensity exercise, a late threshold for health benefits. The Chicago study used thigh-worn accelerometers to confirm that seniors who hit this target saw real-world improvements, like walking farther in a 6-minute test, which is a strong predictor of independence. The implications, however, are immediate. Assisted living facilities, senior centers, and families can adopt this approach with the minimal resources. Instead of generic general exercise classes, programs can set personalized step goals and track progress with affordable devices. Now, Dr. Daniel Rubin, the study's lead author, emphasized practicality. He said, people who haven't experienced frailty can't imagine how big a difference it makes to be able to not get tired going to the grocery store or not need to sit down while they're out. America's 65-plus population will double double by 2060, making frailty prevention urgent. Medicare spends billions annually on fail-related injuries alone. This research offers a rare bright spot, a free, scalable intervention that empowers seniors to take control of their health. Our next headline, New Jersey lawmakers want to force homeschoolers to teach radical ideologies. This is from Harbinger Daily. As more families flee from increasingly extreme public education, New Jersey lawmakers have a radical new bill to force homeschool parents to teach their children using the same dumbed-down standards and outrageous ideologies as government schools. That means even homeschool students would be forcibly subjected to dangerous propaganda on everything from climate change, race-mongering, and fake history to homosexuality and transgenderism. To graduate, families would have to prove they complied. Critics, though, are speaking out and vowing to fight back. In fact, the politically powerful homeschooling community is already developing a plan to stop the bill and punish those seeking to infringe on parental rights, educational freedom, and other key liberties. As the Newman Report documented just last month, the latest bill comes amid a flurry of legislation in New Jersey and other Democrat-controlled states seeking to regulate or even destroy home education. This is the most radical so far, but it will not be the last. Known as Assembly Bill 5825 or AB 5825, the measure would force home educators to register with the government and hand over large amounts of private information. Even more alarming, though, is that they would have to align their curriculum and standards with the state's programs. In addition to the letter containing private information on the child and family, the bill states that the parent or guardian shall submit a copy of the curriculum that will be utilized in the home education program, which shall be aligned with the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. As a Newman Report revealed, when New Jersey's Common Core Aligned Scheme was adopted in 2020, the state's learning standards are among the most radical in the nation. Under the standards, children as young as 4 are bombarded with grotesque sexual propaganda aimed at breaking down moral values and the family. From encouraging children to choose new gender identities to normalizing every form of perversion imaginable, the standards are unprecedented in their extremism. The education scheme also includes an endless barrage of climate change propaganda starting in kindergarten. The goal, convincing children that the gas they exhale, CO2, is pollution that must be taxed and regulated by the UN. Longtime official with the New Jersey Department of Education, Felicia Nace, warned that government schools in New Jersey are required to be saturated in LGBTQ indoctrination, mandatory teaching of sex acts, and so much more that is not acceptable. She also pointed to the failing academics of the state's schools, where less than 1/3 of students are even proficient in any core subject. She went on to ask that if they can't provide basic oversight and ensure that children are adept even at the basics in the public schools they already control, what in the world makes them think they can do a better job overseeing homeschooling? One reason for the push to take over homeschooling might be concern about being exposed. Quote, I believe that the biggest fear of the governor is that parents will do a much better job and the results of homeschoolers are phenomenal. They are very much afraid of that, Nace told the Newman Report. Under the bill, not only will parents have to teach what the government demands, they will have to keep records proving to the government that the children were properly indoctrinated. Among other demands, the legislation requires a detailed portfolio for each student, including lists of reading materials, samples of writing, worksheets, workbooks, and creative materials used or developed by the student. The child will also have to be evaluated by a government-approved person to certify that appropriate education is occurring. The government's war on homeschooling in America is just getting started, however. But as has been the case in multiple nations of Europe, the end goal is to eliminate home education, parental rights, and all choice. That way, every child can be indoctrinated to believe what the state wants him or her to believe. For American parents, parental rights, and educational liberty must be non-negotiable. This is a hill to die on. Let us know what you think about this headline. Stay where you are. I've got more overlooked headlines.
Still to come, our top headline. And don't miss his lines right here on Overlooked Headlines.
Now, here's our top headline. Will AI be listening to your every word? Amazon hopes so. For years, Amazon has insisted its Alexa devices only listen when prompted by a wake word. But now, the company appears ready to drop the charade entirely. It's announced plans to acquire Bee, a startup behind a new wearable AI bracelet that listens to and transcribes everything you say all day long. Yes, every word, whether you're talking to your spouse, venting alone in the car, whispering in church, or brainstorming at work, the bracelet's AI is quietly documenting it all. No wake word, no permission, just endless listening. According to Bee's CEO, the goal is to build a world where AI is truly personable. The bracelet doesn't store audio, but creates a searchable real-time text transcript of your day. As a matter of fact, it even identifies and pulls out to-do items and calendar events from your everyday chatter. Wow. Amazon claims the deal isn't finalized yet, but their interest speaks volumes. In today's AI arms race, the company knows that more personal data equals more powerful AI. And if AI is going to ruin your life, it wants every word you say to feed the machine. But at what cost? Let me give you 5 significant dangers this kind of tech brings and why we should all be concerned. First, the end of verbal privacy. Spoken words have always had one saving grace. They disappear. But not anymore. With Bee and similar devices, every comment, confession, or offhand joke becomes a permanent record. Imagine a coworker wearing one in a meeting or a friend recording your private conversation at dinner. If everyone owns a bracelet like this, no conversation is truly off the record. This doesn't just threaten privacy, it rewrites what privacy even means. In a world where every word is archived, even innocent remarks could be used against you later, say in court, in the workplace, or in the court of public opinion. Next, consent becomes obsolete. We used to believe privacy was something you could opt into. Now, your privacy might depend on whether the person next to you has opted out. If your friend is wearing Bee, you're being recorded too without your consent. There are no clear protections or social norms for this. How would you know if someone at church service, a counseling session, or even a quiet cafe is silently transcribing your words? The very concept of opting out becomes meaningless when surveillance is happening by proximity and not choice. Next, legal and ethical gray zones. This technology opens a legal minefield. What happens if Bee records a sensitive business discussion or captures attorney-client or doctor-patient conversations? Could courts subpoena your private speech? Could companies harvest it under vague productivity tools terms? Bee's AI turns audio into structured, searchable text. That transcript then can be stored, hacked, sold, or demanded by governments. Legal safeguards haven't caught up, and the loopholes are big enough to drive a surveillance truck through. Next, behavior modification through surveillance. When people know they're being watched, or in this case, listened to, guess what? They change. They speak less freely. They joke less. They self-censor, avoid controversial opinions, and filter their every word. The result? We become a society where people are no longer authentic, just edited versions of themselves performing for the algorithm. We risk creating a world where spontaneity dies and every word is a calculated move to avoid misinterpretation or judgment. Even our internal monologue may become curated if AI is listening when we talk to ourselves even. And lastly, corporate and government overreach. Perhaps the most disturbing danger is the inevitable abuse of power. Massive databases of speech transcripts are too tempting to resist. Tech companies will use them to train more addictive AI tools and target users with emotionally tailored ads. Governments will demand access for security purposes. Hackers will steal them, and somewhere in the fine print, you will have given it all away. We've seen it before. Amazon's Ring shared video with police without warrants. Now, imagine a future where AI predicts what you will say next, where it flags conversations as concerning, depressed, or non-compliant. This isn't just Big Brother watching. Hey, it's Big Brother interpreting. What's next? AI that monitors your facial expressions in real time, devices that read your tone, your heartbeat, your mood, and adjust your digital experience accordingly. At what point does personalization become predestination? We're not just building smarter machines, we're building silent judges. If we allow this listening culture to advance unchecked, freedom of speech will not be lost through legislation, it will dissolve through pressure. You will still be able to say what you want, but you will constantly wonder who's listening, what it means, and whether it might be used against you someday. Big tech is listening. The real question, however, is, will you speak up before it's too late? Something to think about with this headline. Let us know what you think. Don't move. His lines are coming up.
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode, then we'll think you'll love connecting with us on our social media platforms as well, because we post frequent news bites, tips, and alerts to keep you informed and inspired. Now, let's get back to more overlooked headlines with Jeff Bass.
Now, it's time for His Lines, where we take a closer look at these headlines from a biblical perspective taken from the Bible, God's Word. Today, our first headline talked about the benefits of walking, especially for seniors. Well, walking is great for not only seniors, but for everyone. As a matter of fact, it would be great if we implemented prayer while we walk. It's a concept that's known as prayer walking, which is one of the most effective and underutilized tools in the arsenal of the believer. As we walk our streets and neighborhoods, we can pray for our neighbors, our communities, and much more. Let me give you a few benefits of prayer walking. First, it deepens spiritual discernment. Prayer walking makes you more aware of the spiritual atmosphere in your environment. You begin to see with kingdom eyes, recognizing areas of spiritual need, strongholds, or places where God is already at work. Also, Matthew 26:41 reminds us to watch and pray. Secondly, it builds compassion and burden for your community. Luke 19:41 reads, "As he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he, Jesus, wept over it." Walking and praying in your neighborhood will begin to give you God's heart for your community and city and cause you to feel what he feels, see people as he sees them, and carry a deeper burden for souls. And finally, prayer walking is not just an activity, it's an assignment. Every step is a declaration. Every prayer is a seed. Every street you cover is ground claimed for the kingdom. So don't just talk about the change, be the change. One step, one prayer, and one street at a time. That's His Lines for Overlooked Headlines. I'm Jeff Bass, keeping you informed and inspired. Get to walking and be blessed.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you've been informed and inspired. Like us, tell a friend, and connect with us via Facebook, YouTube, or email us at neveroverlooked@gmail.com. That's neveroverlooked@gmail.com. Check us out next time on Overlooked Headlines with Jeff Bass.